Alrighty, says we're live. Hello, how are we? I will need to put my hair up because it is, I don't know what temperature it is outside, but it is warm. Have the fan going, have some water for hydration, all that good stuff. But the hair must go up and be off the neck. How'd we doing? I was over in Rachel's stream earlier, and Lisa's still going. Was doing a couple of different things. This morning I had an appointment across town, so I went to that first thing in the morning. Then I made it back just in time for the Archer and Olive sale for their fall launch to start. And then I finished the plushie for Bestie's eldest, which I think I've mentioned that I was doing a blanket for the baby, the second child, and then I was doing an Olaf plushie for the eldest because she loves Frozen. So I have an Olaf. Yay! He's got some scraggly little hair. His eyebrows aren't quite twins, but they're siblings. He's got little twig arms, his little snowball feet. I'm pretty happy with him. I think I had to go with brown eyes, although they look like different colors. They are different colors. Oh no. Oh well. They're in there now. Wish I'd seen that before. I'm just like, as the light is catching it, I'm like, why does one eye look darker than the other? One eye is brown, one eye is orange. Oh well. Did his buttons and sewing together this morning for the most part. So I have some scraggly felt from doing his eyes and his teeth. But yeah, so this was a pattern that I found online. But because it's a copyright character, it's free. Like, you're not supposed to sell it for profit, all that kind of stuff. And I did have to modify quite a bit of it because the initial pattern didn't, the nose wasn't quite right, and the height of his head wasn't quite right, nor was the eye placement. So the eyes initially were supposed to be like down here, which meant I think the nose was supposed to be a little bit further down, but it didn't make sense when I tried to put it together. So also his little fingers are kind of wonky, but Olaf is kind of wonky. So, you know what? I'll take it. And even if his eyeballs don't match, it's okay. I don't think Bestie's baby is gonna notice. So Rachel has hopped over here to finish the book. Nice. Monique is here. It says, hey, Jules, woke up late today. It's okay. It's summertime. Sometimes the heat takes it out of you. And also, yes, happy new moon and solar eclipse. Yes. Total solar eclipse, right? In certain portions of the world. NASA's going to be live streaming. Yes, I did see that. It's a cute Olaf. It is. I'm pretty pleased. I did have to break open my fabric glue, and man, I forgot how much that stinks. So that's also a reason why I had my fan on. Monique says, you're making me think about my Disney trip again. The line to see Anna and Elsa in Disney's California Adventure was long. Yeah, I bet it was. Because that's what Elsa is, the baby's favorite, even though she looks very much like an Anna. Because they have the ginger hair. But she's enamored of Elsa. So, but I don't have quite the yarn to do an Elsa. Plus, I figured an Olaf would be a little bit easier to do with like a shorter amount of period of time. So did that. There's a reason you have no pics with Disney princesses. They all had lines. Yeah. 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 If you went, yeah, and if you go during the summer, it's probably like the height of the season for kids and families to be there. So Stacy says, I'm back to writing after last week with the migraines, and you were ready to incorporate something that you had already written. Apparently your headaches were passed over to me. I don't have like a full-blown migraine yet, but every day for the past week it's been not great. So I don't know if it's the barometric pressure. I don't know if it's the like crud in the air from the fires. Like, I don't know, but it has not been fun. You saw Rapunzel and Flynn. Nice. Carmen's asking to be Elsa for Halloween. Excellent. Yeah. Bestie bought an Anna costume. She found it on like sale or clearance or something, and she knew it was too big. But she was like, baby, you'll be able to wear it for like 3 years before she understands that she can pick something different. So I suspect that she will probably be on that again for Halloween this year, and then maybe next year she might have to get a new costume. So Monique says, I was lucky that I got pics with Black Widow and Captain Marvel. Ooh, that's also really fun. Yeah. You just really took pictures with whoever you ran into, which is why you have a pic with Han Solo. I mean, Han Solo would be fun for me. So yes. Which apparently, I'm trying to remember what the article I read. It was like they're replacing Han Solo as an actor, and I'm like, what do you mean? And turns out they're replacing the voice actor for a foreign language dub, and the young version of. So it was like a clickbaity title, and I fell for it and I clicked it. I'm so ashamed. I fell for the clickbait. Not really. It's fine. They're meant to make you do that, Okay, so what do we need to do today? We need to write. We need to be productive. We need to get some things done. I have put most of my laundry away so I can check the majority of that off of my to-do list. I also put away some of the extra like yarn hooks, crochet hooks. And then in the bag from the craft store, I was like, oh, right, I forgot I also had ordered these. So I have another set of floral tapes, or a set of floral tapes, that may go well with the other colorways from this like floral decoration pack. So that could be an option for a monthly theme. So I just found more stuff, essentially, which is why I need to clean so I can organize and see exactly how much I have of what. So we have started that process. Rachel's enjoying some lunch before more revisions and writing. Excellent. I had Little Smokies, pigs in a blanket type lunch, and then some lactose-free ice cream, cookies and cream flavor. It was tasty. Rachel says, hope everyone's good. Hope everybody's good too. Monique is just going to keep adding to your word count. Excellent. Are you, I'm trying to remember, you were headed towards 26K last time, I think. So are you headed towards 28 today? Stacy says, I'm going to keep incorporating what I previously wrote into this document. You're on page 2 of 4 that you printed out. Nice. And also, you're going to bake lunch. Excellent. Hopefully whatever you make is tasty. Let's see. What do we need to do? We need to pull a cat. 2 cats, technically. We need Tuesday's cat and Wednesday's cat. Tuesday's cat is very wet. Favorite personal development book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. So it's a play on Marie Kondo's title. The cat looks very wet and very grumpy because it's wet. And then we have I Like Chair Yoga. This pose is called Armrest Occupied, so find somewhere else to sit. I think that's a pose that cats do pretty often. Okay, so that is our cats. You're currently at 27,500, so today's goal is 28,250. Nice. Okay, so we've got the Fox Spirit, number 27, inverted. Oh, we had 28 last time. So we didn't go very far. Here is our fox. It says, think on your feet is the main message, but remember we are reading the upside down message. So, are you camouflaging yourself to avoid intimacy? Perhaps you are being too clever for your own good and playing games to protect yourself. Being dishonest with yourself or others can become isolating and create obstacles to true connection. The Fox Spirit calls you to be attuned to what is happening within you and around you so that your quick thinking and creativity can lead you to better relationships and situations. You are called to use your Fox Spirit beneficially rather than in ways that keep you from experiencing what you want. Or perhaps right now you are realizing that a situation is trickier than it appears on the surface and you are afraid to make a move in case it turns out to be a mistake. The fox is here to remind you that when you are in alignment with the universe, the answers and solutions can come quickly, and you can trust them. Don't overthink a situation in order to avoid the challenge of facing a difficult truth. The fox's creative nature will always be there to guide you and help you move quickly into better circumstances. I like that. I like that one. All right. That is our cat and critter for the day. So now we need to mention the poll before I get too far into the rest of things. So if your main character had to serve tea to an enemy, what kind of tea would they make for said enemy? Would they make a super sour lemon tea? Would they give them something that's a little bit toxic, like Oleander Tea? Would they give them a fruit tea that they know the enemy is allergic to? Or would they give them week old tea? Like, it's been hanging around for a while. So, like, you have to serve them tea, but this is kind of like a reluctant serving of the tea type of thing. What would you serve, or what would your main character serve? Monique is going to go watch the eclipse. That feels personal and not for the brain. I just think it was an interesting question. I was like, if my character was a bit salty about serving this tea to an antagonist, what would they serve instead of something that's proper? Because there's definitely a world in which my main character would like try and kill them with kindness, in terms of like super great customer service, in terms of like trying to make sure that that they have nothing to like complain about or whatever. But then I have a lot of main characters who would just like straight up serve them oleander tea or something that they know that cannot be cannot be palatable, or that kind of thing. Given that your novel is temporary rom-com, Rita is way too nice for her own good. She would serve Tanya the sourest lemon tea possible. Gotcha. Your main character may not shy. Let me try that again. Your main character may not shy away from evil doing, but he doesn't poison people. That's too easy. Gotcha. So that would eliminate a couple of answers. For the poll, week-old tea is because your female main character is petty. She would want to annoy them without hurting them if she wasn't just trying to kill them. But then your female main character would just stab the person and not waste the tea. Also a good answer. Monique the High Priestess. Nice. Major Arcana. Diane says hello. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right. So we need to get to work. Also, I need to toss away these 2 failed noses because I'm not going to try and reclaim the yarn. So that's done. That's taken care of. I don't have to worry about that. Every little thing that you can do to like clean after crafts, sometimes it just takes forever. Diane says, getting makeup on in case I have to be on camera as I edit this video. Ah, gotcha. So in case you have to do last minute editing cut-ins, what do they call it? Cameos? No, I don't know. Asides is sort of like what pops into my brain, but yeah. Okay. Let's do this. So 1, pull up your document if you haven't done so already. And if you've already been working, make sure you save your document. 2 is make sure that you take a sip of whatever it is you're hydrating with. Cheers. 3 is straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back. That posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Got a bunch of typos. Okay, there we go. Thought I got a buzz text, but didn't. Okay. Doing pretty good. Managed about 600 words, I think. Somewhere in that realm. Happy I also went and got a peppermint because I needed it, I guess, to sort of focus my brain. Sometimes I feel like mint flavoring kind of helps wake me up a little bit. Diane says, did I take my ADHD meds? Gets up check. I hope you find an answer one way or the other. Let's see. Monique was going to listen to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon as you watch NASA's coverage of the eclipse. Heather is here and says hello. Hello. Spain will have a total eclipse in about an hour. Nice. Mom Maggie says lurking and working. Excellent. Good. I need to remember to go back and rewatch the stream you did this morning for all the words August. Week-old tea with a side of forensic proof of the enemy's plans. Yes. Yes, indeed. Diane says perfect timing. I'm glad it was perfect timing. Also, Heather said to Heather, Diane says hello. Monique is almost at 28K. Nice. Rachel enjoyed your lunch break and pulled up your information and notes for the last few things. Excellent. What was for lunch? What was for lunch? I did go into my journal and jot down a couple of things from this morning. I still need to go in and sort of jot down a couple of things for tomorrow, but overall we're doing pretty good. And I think we're doing a little bit better on spacing this week than we did last week. So that's good. Diane says, oh yeah, lunch. But did you take your meds? That's the question. You never answered. Did you take your ADHD meds? I mean, food is important too. Yes, don't get me wrong. Food is absolutely important. But did you also take your meds? You're excited to get this video completed. You feel like you can now follow more of a regular schedule. Ooh, nice. That'd be good. Okay. We need to get this second sprint going. Yep, you took your meds. Had a wave of fatigue / tiredness, so you wondered. Gotcha. All right, so we need a sprint. Wrong button. Wrong button. Okay. Puncher requires a treat. Understandable. Yeah. All right, don't forget to do your self-promo during this sprint, and also don't forget to answer the poll if you have not yet done so. And let's do this. So 1, save your document. 2 is take a sip of whatever you're hydrating with. Cheers. Stacy got about 1,100 words, but you still have 2 pages to transfer and rewrite. Nice. And hello, Prince. Welcome. All right. So Sprint number 2, 30 minutes. We've done save, we've done zip. Number 3 is to straighten your shoulders, roll your shoulders back, give yourself a stretch. 4 is if you need a break, make sure you take one. Here we go, 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that was sprint number 2. And I think I did pretty good. Did have to take a little short stand up and stretch break there at the end. And I encourage you, if you are feeling a little stiff, to also do that. We're talking a little bit about the super dry, super fire hazards and the heat and all of that. Diane was checking on the ice in the ice chest that you keep for bottled water for people to grab because the heat index is 105. It's supposed to be 108 here tomorrow. Between like 1 and 8 p.m. is like the heat advisory. And I'm like, ugh, I don't think I'm going to step outdoors tomorrow. So yeah. Diane is in the AC and planning to stay here all week if possible. Poor hubby is mowing at work, the water plant. Fortunately, it's a Writer mower. Yeah. Hopefully your hubby has a big old straw hat and some like long sleeves to protect against sunburn and UV, all that. Mom Maggie's hubby has been using the riding mower on all the areas around the building and along the fences because of the wildfire risks. Yeah, we want to make sure that Mom Maggie is safe. So doing all of the things. But then this morning, the stupid neighbor, the dangerous neighbor, a mile south of us tried to burn down an old house on the property, set his garage on fire and half of his pasture. Thank goodness the fire department got it out in 2 hours. Yeah. And then there was a little bit of an update because I was like, I'm guessing that, the firemen have better things to do other than investigate this. But because apparently this is like the third time in 4 years that the old house has, quote unquote, accidentally caught fire. The neighbors don't seem to understand that plaster and lathe buildings don't burn without, quote unquote, help. Yeah. The husband is a licensed electrician contractor, so the excuse of accidental electrical fire after the first 2 times didn't really fly very well. Yeah. But the fire marshal drove by as soon as the fire trucks started leaving, and then 2 sheriff's vehicles came out and then left with somebody in the back seat. So you don't think he's going to get any insurance money this time? Did he? I guess he must have the times before, otherwise he wouldn't keep trying it. But that's crazy. Glad it was cooler and higher humidity this morning, and also there was no wind this morning. Yeah. All things aligned for the better there. Y'all know I had all the sprinklers around the property running full to create moisture barrier around the house and barn. Yeah. Also, Monique hit the word count goal. Yay! Excellent. Good job, Monique. And the eclipse is going to be happening in 10 minutes. That was at 2:20, which means in 2 minutes now. Mom Maggie says I'm outside the eclipse zone, but I know Hilder should be under it. Watching the live stream from time and date, keeping it on mute because you don't necessarily want the commentary. Mom Maggie's looking forward to the lunar eclipse at the end of the month. Yeah, so the eclipse window, we have the solar eclipse today, and then the lunar eclipse on the 27th to 28th. So that window of time has that Leo eclipse energy, right? Sprint finished just as Pink Floyd said, the sun is eclipsed by the moon. Perfect. Great timing on that part. Yeah. Heather says, you've had the beginnings of migraines. It's about an hour into your tire shop visit. Ooh. You've been limiting your screen time, so you missed the break, but you have been eating and taking meds. Good. And hopefully hydrating as well, because sometimes that does help with the migraines. Not always. Not often, but sometimes. Stacy says, I forgot that I had a task I need to do in the garage. I worked on that until my back started to hurt. Then I came back in. I think I got maybe 50 words that sprint. You're at 1,300 words for today. Nice. Excellent. We live near a park in downtown, so people tend to be walking by regularly. So having an ice chest with bottled water out there is very kind of you, and I'm sure much appreciated in 105 heat index temperatures. Heather has the heat advisory as well. It's supposed to feel like 105 around now. Yeah. Yeah, I think at the moment I checked, it was like only 94 today. But it's supposed to feel like 108 tomorrow, which I'm like, that's gonna suck. What's the highest heat index? Looks like maybe 96 today. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I'm getting a little tired of summer, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking forward to the cooler fall weather. Rachel says, okay, no productivity, but in my defense, I opened Canva, and Canva can suck you in. Absolutely. I wish that they still had the filter option for like free, because that makes things way, way easier to actually find things that you can use. I mean, I know that their intention is to like show you all the things that you could get if you like purchased their, one of their tiers of subscription stuff. But I love free stuff, freebies. Like, it would be much nicer if you had left the freebie filter on there. Anyway, Diane says we don't get to see the eclipse here, but hopefully the meteor shower will be fun this evening. Ooh, true. I need to look up if we can see the meteors this evening, because that would be nice. I'll have to go out there in really long pants and really long sleeves, though, because mosquitoes. Yeah. Canvas traction. Eclipse is at 95%. Monika's going to go look at it. And Diane says, thanks for the time and date suggestion. Iceland, Shetland, UK, Spain, Portugal get the full view. Yes, hydrating. Ice chest was hubby's idea. He also wants to put out snacks. Gotcha. Harshit Pasi, hello, welcome. Your porch needs painted very badly. You cringe every time you think of someone stepping up closer. Sometimes it, can look a little bit better if you do a wash or a sweep. It's okay. It will get done in time, but not during 105 heat index, okay? Don't do that. That's not good. So, it'll get done in time, but it does not have to get done during the super hot heat advisory. You're going to make vanilla chai tea, and it feels like fall. Yes. Stacy says, and I'm the weird one in a sweatshirt and jeans. In my defense, the AC in the house gets pretty chill. This is true. Yeah, like I definitely during the evenings, I generally put on like a little sweatshirt or whatever. But again, that's not right smack in the middle of the day. You did take the sweatshirt off while in the garage. True. Yeah. Understandable. Usually the garages don't have the same insulation that the house does. Rachel says, I goofed off because my co-author's kiddo compared us to Enid and Winston. Nice. Hoodies are year-round if possible. Yeah, they're very comfortable, and I like that. The temperature sometimes prohibits for me. You made a collage on Canva and tagged her on Facebook. Nice. Rachel's like, I would like fall all year. Season, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I also love the temperature of spring and I love the flowers of spring, but the pollen in the springtime gets me big. Some of the pollen in the fall gets me, but not as much as springtime. So Rachel says, at first when I read Enid, you thought of Elizabeth's best friend and Sweet Valley High. Nice. Funky is here. It said, a word to your Mothra. Do you have a Mothra mug today, or are we just hanging out with monsters? What's the deal? It just needs painted. You have the paint and the supplies, but yeah, you're holding off for cooler weather. Good. Heather says, me too, Rachel. I won't fall all year long. Yeah, especially in Florida. Because yeah, it's not quite as gray as wintertime, even though wintertime temperature in Florida is quite nice most times. Diane says, funky. Funky says to Diane, chair tea sounds gross. Thank you for welcoming in. Yeah, so this is a writing and productivity sprint. We're currently in a chat break, and then we will go back to a timer, and we will work for the 25 to 30 minutes that the timer counts down. And then at the end, we will all have a little bit more hopefully done. So it's just kind of like a co-working accountability stream. So that's what's going on. Flies. Oh no. Funky says, welcome to Hershey Pussy. And yes, it's writing time or whatever floats your brain. Yeah. I'm not going to police you on what you're doing, but the idea is to be productive on something that you have been wanting to get done. Or needing to get done, one or the other. Diane is working on video editing between chatting. Nice. It always takes me so long to edit videos, which is why I generally do the live streams instead. Productivity sprints, we chat in between. Yep. No Mothra mug, just a longing for the fall. and Mothra reminds you of the fall. Understood. You've been over this Florida heat since moving here decades ago. Also understandable. Yeah. All right. We did the 30-minute flower timer. We did the rubber ducky timer. Shall we do the teapot timer? Let's do the teapot. Okay. Stacy's excited because we have her favorite timer up. Stacy says, I often do laundry, though I have cleaned my kids' room or my office as well. Yeah. We did laundry yesterday, so I'm covered on that front. All right, let's do this. So 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to sip on and go ahead and sip. Cheers. Three, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check and stretch. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go, 30 minutes of our purple teapot timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Alrighty. So we spent a little bit of time introducing the idea of authortube to Harshu. Let us know what you would like us to call you. But yeah, so I popped the link somewhere above. Here we go. For the authortube spreadsheet, which Devin Cutting it always keeps up. It's so great. It's wonderful. And Kat and Rachel and a bunch of others who contribute to making sure that everything is still listed in a timely manner. So thank you very much. And let's see. Andy is here. Hello, welcome. Andy is up to just bits and bobs, nothing super fancy today, but that's okay. We're glad to have you. Rachel has applied for Festival of Legends and Retcon 2027. So I looked up Festival of Legends, but then I got distracted and didn't look up Retcon. So I don't know what Retcon is. Is this the real estate and technology conference? Or is there a different one? Apparently there's a bunch of different ones. So I don't know which one. Apologies. Rachel says, hey to Andy. And Andy says, hey to Rachel. And this was, Mom Maggie posed a question. Since aliens are already here, would you, 1, try their restaurants and food, 2, welcome them as new neighbors, or 3, ask for recommended tourist sites, or 4, all of the above? I think I would like to know what their food tastes like and how nice they are before I am super welcoming. I don't know if that makes any sense to like anybody else's brain, but like if our food is compatible and not going to kill each other, that's a point that we can live together, right? And then, you know, if I'm nice and you're nice and we can get along, then we can work as neighbors. And if your food is really good, then chances are I might want to go experience the alien culture, whatever it is. So I think a lot of it depends on the food and how nice. That's kind of a weird way to approach it, but that's how I would approach it. So Rachel says to Maggie, how do we know we haven't already tried their food? Have you looked at what's available these days? I mean, there are some odd things that have hit the market. So that's for sure. Andy says, are we talking aliens from beyond Earth or... Oh, that's how I took it. I took it as aliens from beyond, or how the U.S. defines non-U.S. people. Yeah, no, I was thinking outer space. So, and Mom Maggie's kind of laughing at that. Yeah. Rachel says, yeah, because not gonna lie, you already love food from other cultures, and you're fairly certain some of those recipes come from what the current admin sees as non-U.S. Yeah. Tacos, sushi, crescent rolls of French cuisine. Sounds like a good poll question. It does. That's Mom Maggie's question. So, Mom Maggie says, I'm all in for all the foods, except for maybe brains and tongue. You don't eat things that judge me or taste me back. That makes a lot of sense as a boundary. Yeah. Funky got some work writing done, and the coffee has been drank, especially from the faded pirate mug. Excellent. Good. Stacey's at about 1,600 words. Nice. And a little over one more page to transfer. You're closer. You're getting close. Okay. So this is the, let me pull this up. I knew it was not. It didn't sound like a real estate convention would be something that you would be headed to. Okay, so is this like a retro type? Is that what the ret comes from? Event info. Okay, so on there, celebrating 5 weird years in Durham, North Carolina. And they have information about the guest of honor, author and publisher Jason Roach. What have they been up to? Okay, nice. Mom Maggie has 2,193 words. So word 2,193 or so words accomplished for the day. I'm at 1,768, so not bad. You guess you would choose 2, welcoming the new neighbor, but you're a homebody, so you're just going to want to leave them alone and be left alone. I mean, sometimes that works great for neighbors, right? Yeah. Sorry, you forgot to introduce yourself. Your name is Harshit Pasi, but you can call me HP or Harshu, whichever rings better. You're from India. Nice. Well, welcome. You're a guy who looks for stories in everything, movies, books, recently started reading, lives around and beyond and in yourself. Or lives around and beyond. There we go. Love to be here and hope that you could live some stories here too. Nice. Excellent. Here's the Festival of Legends link. Aliens totally started the whole dried cricket fit. I'm pretty sure that it's probably leftover from drought times when there was nothing else to eat but the crickets and the locusts. So, the reptiles started it. Yeah. All right, so we have our poll that we need to end. So what kind of tea would our main character be serving to an enemy? If we had to serve tea, what kind of tea? We have a 3-way tie between super sour lemony tea, just as like sour as we can possibly make it. That's what our main character would serve. 27% would also serve fruit tea that we know that the enemy is allergic to. So we're trying to make them have anaphylactic shock, apparently. And also 27% of our main characters would serve week old tea and just be like, here, have all the germs and the bacteria. And then 18% would serve something that's toxic, like oleander tea. So that's what our main characters would do if we had to serve a tea of some sort. Yeah. All right, let me see who is next in line. I should probably share the screen so that we can all see it. If it's going to load for me. It's taking its time. Apparently it's not wanting to load, so sorry about that. It is Wednesday, so there's usually several that start at either 3 or 4, and there's a number that start for the evening as well. So there's plenty of writing sprints to be had, and then there's always Thursday sprints as well. And we will be back on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So for more of the same, writing and getting stuff done. I'm so glad to have the Olaf critter done. I showed the critter off at the very beginning of the stream. But so I made Olaf for Bestie's eldest. It's done. I wanted to make sure I had it done before Friday, so we're good. HK start. Okay, great. HK starts in about 70 minutes, so a little bit over an hour. Fantastic. Mom Maggie says, be blessed and happy hump day to all. Yes. And also happy solar eclipse day. Heather says, Rachel, I may apply to Multiverse Atlanta for 2027. Ooh, folks have been recommending it to me for years. Too many things were happening this year, though. Understandable. Yeah. So here's the link for HK if you want to pull up that. And then Jenna starts in about 101 minutes. Excellent. All right. Fantastic. And there's usually somebody with pop-up somewhere as well. So, all right. Don't forget to save your work. Save it before you close it. And also, we are approaching the mid-month. So if you do a bi-monthly backup of your projects, make sure that you are contemplating putting that on your schedule for the next couple of days. And I will see y'all soon. All right. Bye.